What's upon a time? What's upon a time? When I get the vibe, when I get the vibe. Vaccines. One of the most important things humans as a species has ever owned. I mean, this stuff has been revolutionary, done a lot of good, made our lives better, and done so much wonder for humans that some people could even put it in a kind of godlike, godlike form at some point. I mean, for so many people who don't really read history, you don't understand how much good vaccines have done for us. From polio to tuberculosis to smallpox. I mean, everything I've just listed did a lot of damage. I mean, ravaged a whole lot of town, countries, killed a lot of people. For those who's never heard about the Black Death, I mean, millions of people perished just because a little virus could go into their system and be spread all through the town, and everyone is gone. However, as time goes on, I think humans we're starting to develop this level of amnesia where we no longer remember, because this stuff has done so much good. We no longer remember how important it can be for us. Let me just give you guys a little bit of clarification before we start this video, before we go deep into this video. That I myself talking here, I've got my own opinion on vaccines, which I will be sharing at the end of this video. But it's important we put that out there. For everything that does good, there is always a bad thing that comes to it. So recently, there's been a lot of anti-vaccine campaign. I mean, one of the biggest anti-vaccine campaign that happened was back in the 90s, where a man named Andrew Wakefield, decided that vaccine is responsible for autism. I mean, brought out a lot of papers and was able to prove beyond reasonable doubts that for every child that has autism, this child has been vaccinated at some point. And this is the reason why their parents have to suffer for it. Although this really later was debunked by different kind of research too, but this still stayed around. A lot of people still kept believing this same theory. And as long as human lives, this probably won't go anywhere. A lot of anti-vaccine campaigners have been around, yes, but none is becoming bigger than this man, RFK. RFK is the nephew of John F. Kennedy, the man who got assassinated. I'm not sure if I pronounced the name perfectly. However, JFK, as is known, and is a very, very influential person, and is one of the biggest anti-vaccine campaigners anywhere you'd see in the world. And guess what JFK or RFK will be holding in recent times? He's going to be the one responsible for most of the decisions in America as regards health. And this man hates vaccines. So it's safe to say that vaccines will be coming under a strong scrutiny in recent times. But before this happens, I think it's very important that we look into the benefits and, of course, the risks of having a vaccine. And I think with this video, you might be able to make up your mind if you'll be getting any vaccine in the future, or you want to just leave vaccine in general. Let's just move on to the teaching session while we'll talk about further things as we go along. So this session will be about the benefits and the risk of vaccination. So as you guys can see, I decided to put this important message out there. Vaccines have revolutionized global healthcare, offering a powerful tool to prevent diseases and save lives. While the benefits are undeniable, of course, it is crucial to understand the potential risks and how to weigh against disadvantages. So let's first look at the importance of vaccine for public health, because all these things we're talking about is all about public health. It's all about the health of myself and yourself and every other person living in the community. So first and foremost, herd immunity. I think this is one of the reasons why most of us have actually forgotten how important vaccination is, which is the word herd immunity. So basically what this means is, if I'm vaccinated and my friend is vaccinated, and his friend is vaccinated, 10 people are vaccinated. If one other guy amongst us isn't vaccinated, this guy is covered. And this is just for one reason, because the same virus is not likely to spread to this guy, because everyone around this guy is protected. So the virus has a lesser chance to be living in the society. So let me give an example. There are people who wouldn't probably be able to get a vaccine. Let's say for someone who's allergic to that particular type of vaccine, like for someone who does have egg allergy, they probably won't be able to take some type of vaccines. So as a result of that, these people can only be covered if everyone around them are vaccinated. Now, how does this affect we as a society these days? Because most of us are vaccinated, we no longer see the benefits of vaccination. Because, of course, you're not exposed to the disease in the first place. But, of course, if we at some point seen someone with smallpox or polio, then everyone wants to be vaccinated because they know the dangers of not being vaccinated. So, herd immunity is an important part. Of course, reduce morbidity and mortality. Vaccines does significantly reduce the rate at which people die from diseases, because this helps to protect people in general, and also the economic benefits. This is to public institutions and to private institutions, to the hospitals who no longer have to pay so much. Of course, with systems like in the NHS in the UK, where the government have to pay for people being sick. Being vaccinated significantly help the government avoid this unnecessary cost that comes with people being sick, and just by being vaccinated at some point. And of course, personal benefits, personal economic benefits, like in America, where you need to pay for your own health care if you're not insured. Being vaccinated is just basically being insured for a car you're about to drive, just in case anything happens. You're covered to some extent. So vaccination is very important. In these three aspects, there are major importance of vaccination. Now, how vaccines work in the first place? Because I understand people tend to criticize vaccines a lot because we don't really get how they work. So let's talk about how they work. But just stay around within this video, because I'll still be talking about the risks that come with vaccines. So don't be like, oh, this guy is just a pro-vaccine and is just trying to force us to take vaccines and stuff like that. Nah, that's not what this video is all about. It's to make you understand the concept behind vaccination and why it might be beneficial, while we also explore the risks. So now, how does vaccines work? Vaccines work by just basically, if you've got a potential invader in a house, for example, your body is the building, let's say, and you know a thief will be coming, potentially will be coming by 7 p.m. This particular thief does have, let's say, the thief weighs 350 pounds, very big man. Of course, you're going to need security in your house, yeah? But then, the security guy in the building is only 50 pounds. How do you expect this guy to protect you against the 350-pound guy? So our body naturally has its own immunity, has its own way of fighting these diseases. But oftentimes, it's not really strong enough to fight some type of so-called heavy-duty guys that might come around. So what do? The guy that you've got in your house, who is 50 pounds basically, you need this guy to see the picture of the 350-pound guy, go to the gym, train, be strong enough to actually fight that guy. But there's no way he would know the how to fight that guy if he hasn't seen the picture, know what this guy looks like, and be able to train ahead, to plan ahead. So what do we do in respect to vaccines? Vaccine is basically introducing a very low, the same type of virus they're trying to vaccinate you against, introducing a low grade virus, let's say a weak one that won't probably harm you, but has the same kind of DNA, everything are alike, but it's not likely to harm you. We introduce that into your body, and after introducing that into your body, your immune system is able to see like, this is what it looks like. Then build soldiers. I mean, decide, I won't be able to solve this by myself. I need 4 more guys with me and all that. And by that time, your body knows what this particular virus looks like. When this virus comes, your body is already prepared. So that's just basically what vaccination is all about. Preparing your body for a particular virus or a particular disease by preempting, by letting your body know what it does look like in the first place. So introducing the antigen, which will trigger an immune response and generating antibodies. So antibodies are just basically the soldiers. So now let's look at the common side effects and their frequency. Let's look at the common side effects of vaccination. So like I said originally, it will be very, very one-sided if I'm making a video just about vaccination and the benefits of vaccination. Commonly, if you're getting a vaccination, it's likely to be on a true injection, because of course we've got some like the rotavirus which babies get in their mouth and stuff like that. But pain on the injection site is very common. You'd have pain. It will be painful. For people who got COVID vaccine, a lot of people complain of that for a while. Also, mild fever and fatigue. These are really common things because you're introducing something into your body and you need an immune response to be triggered, which would cause this fever and your body just trying to fight it. And immediately after fighting it, it develops the power to fight a bigger one. So you can also have muscle aches and headaches, and also sometimes allergic reaction. This is the allergic reaction I was talking about initially for people who might have egg allergy and they get, let's say, maybe an MMR vaccine. Then, this might be something you want to look at. So what are the serious adverse events that can happen after getting a vaccination? Anaphylaxis. There are people that can develop severe anaphylactic reaction to vaccination. If that vaccination is not something they should, like their body doesn't like. And severe anaphylactic reaction can be dangerous. I mean, people not being able to breathe appropriately, they will need to be on pen, and they need immediate appropriate intervention. And also there's what we call the Guillain-Barré syndrome. A Guillain-Barré syndrome is basically a kind of neuro disorder where people start just losing certain neurological features or neurological abilities that just ascends. It starts from the leg, then it goes to the let's say the thigh, then you can start feeling it in your hand and so forth. So thrombocytopenia is also when you have an abnormal clotting disorder. So these are things that not just happen with vaccines alone. It can happen with anything. I mean, anything generally that could trigger, anything that introduces any kind of disease into your body, that can introduce any kind of virus or foreign object into your body. This can even be drugs. It can trigger some of these things. Now, vaccination as a safe and effective preventative measure. So it's important to do rigorous testing and safety monitoring, extensive research and development, and continuous evaluation and improvement. So something about vaccines that people don't understand. Before a vaccine is put out there to be used, rigorous testing could have been done. I mean, from some of the best, from some of those who knows what they are doing. And before they put it out there, there would have been tests that would have been done on humans before they roll it out to millions or billions of people to be used. So I think this is just to put to say we need this to be safe for people, because not just adults will be getting this, not just men, but women and children, pregnant women and vulnerable people, and even people that are very old. So we need this to be safe. We need this to be protective of others before we roll it out there. And I believe this is just one of the things people might argue about of we humans learn to trust each other as long as they have this level of authority and the system constitute them to be trusted, basically. So vaccines are not just one of those things that a pharmaceutical company will just develop and stuff like that. We'll be talking about the pharmaceutical company at the end of the video, but I just want to put out there that it's important that we also understand that vaccines are not just one of those random products like a car or something like that are rolled out into millions. This is tested and trusted. Even cars are extremely tested, not to talk of a vaccine. So now let's talk about the myth on vaccination. Vaccines don't cause autism. Based on the current level of education and research that has been done, all these theories of vaccines causing autism has been debunked. Every single one of them has been debunked. Further research might show otherwise, but as far as medicine is concerned now, it is not a cause of autism. So now vaccines don't weaken the immune system. I believe anyone who was listening to what I said originally would understand that vaccines actually strengthen the immune system, not that it weakens the immune system. Of course, they've got science people who you wouldn't really want to take some type of vaccination. For example, people with already weak immune system. For example, people with let's say HIV, who that's not, let's say, severely immunocompromised, basically HIV, or someone who probably is on a cancer medication and all that. You might want to avoid them from getting some type of vaccines because they are alive and their body is just too weak to actually undo this particular vaccine. So vaccines also doesn't contain harmful chemicals. Like I said originally, vaccines are not products that are made like chocolate or something like that. They are things that are going into a human body directly. And as a result of that, several testing would have been done. Of course, there's always room for improvement in anything, and there is always things that are done to improve these things. But of course, vaccines are not majorly are not set out there to contain harmful chemicals to cause problem to our body. So now, let's actually talk about this. For me personally, the risk of anything is there. The risk of driving a car is there. There's a reason why some people wouldn't even enter a plane, but majority of us still enter a plane. The risk of even drinking water. How do you know that particular water you're drinking doesn't have a lead poisoning? But then is that a reason why you wouldn't even drink water in the first place? That's a good question. So for everything around us, there are risks. But then we have to check the benefits. Polio has been eradicated or basically eradicated because of this. Smallpox has been basically eradicated because of this. Tuberculosis is becoming a thing of the past because of this. And we have to always consider how important this is, not just for ourselves, but for the community. Like I mentioned originally, herd immunity is very important. Now, let me also talk about the pharmaceutical companies. One of the problem, understandably one of the biggest problem people have with vaccination in itself is the business side of it. When a man decides that he's going to earn money on something, there could be conflict of interest. And as a result of this, there could be things that are not being done appropriately just because money is being made. Like the Bible would say, money is the root of all evil, isn't it? So people think logically until money is involved and perhaps are ready to let people die just because they are able to make a lot of money from it. I mean, we're not talking $1 million, we're talking billions. So as a result of this, understandably, the public might be quite scared of the idea of letting people decide this when there could be conflict of interest. And I personally believe this is where improvement needs to come in. Government taking over the production of this vaccine, even though we all know the private companies are able to run it better, but there should be maybe tighter regulations, letting this stuff become maybe less of a profit stuff, but rather a public health stuff. So this could go to non-profit organizations that have the real interest of people at heart rather than people that make billions from it yearly. And I believe this could actually give a level of trust from the public to vaccines. But in conclusion, I believe vaccines are important. They hold their risks, and the conflict of interest make them a little bit controversial, isn't it? But generally, we just need to make the right decisions and also seek to protect ourselves at the end of the day, isn't it? So thank you very much for watching this video. I believe you must have enjoyed this if you're watching it up to this point. If you have any questions, you can leave it at the comment section below. Thank you very much once again. I'll see you another time.